Page 14, CYU. I'm going to talk about a bunch of stuff here, not just the question, because there's some information we really need to know. Now, marginal distribution and two-way tables. Well, a two-way table is basically, we've got some information here about attitudes, which we could figure out the percentages, because this is important right here. We've got the total of everything. So we can figure out those percentages, but we can also figure out, separate them between male and female as well, and do those percentages. So that's why it's a two-way table. We have two different directions we could go in. Now, marginal distribution is, well, we might put some stuff in the margin. How about that? That's kind of, I don't know if that's really correct, but that's the way I remember it. So in the margin, I just want to warn you that sometimes they'll give you a table, not very often, but they'll just give you the information. They won't give you the totals, so you got to make sure that you put the totals in. It's pretty helpful. Now the CYU, check for understanding, asks you to do the marginal distribution based on gender. So basically we want to say, in this group, what was the percentage of female and what was the percentage of male in the whole group? So, well, percentage of female, let's just do that one. It's 2367 divided by the total, 4826. So that gives us approximately 0.49. So if we were working in percentages, we would say 49% were female. And I don't even have to do the other one because it's either male or female, so at least I don't have to calculate it. 51% would be male. Okay. Now, we'd also do this marginal distribution based on attitudes or opinions over here as well. But they just ask us for based on gender. They also ask us to do a graph. Well, the graph would be pretty boring because if you do a bar graph, they're pretty equal. There's only a 2% swing between the two genders. Okay. But I'm going to go a little bit further and talk about conditional distribution. So that is, for instance, let's just say we look at the males. So the condition, one of which I am afflicted with, is being male. Okay, so let's just figure out how do the males, if you're male, that's the condition, what are your attitudes about getting rich before you're 30? Okay, let's take a look at that. So we're just looking at the males. So the percentage of males, 98 of these males out of 2,459 males felt that they had almost no chance. So here it is. So that's like 4%. Again, we're just going to look at this column. 286 out of the 2,459 gives us 11.6. Guess what? These always have to add up to 100%. That seems to make sense, right? So that's one way to double check if you're a little bit confused. Okay, so that is a conditional distribution. The distribution means how are they distributed? Okay, what are the percentages? Can we look at that? Well, what we could also do is make a graph, maybe a bar graph histogram, based on this. So this gives us a nice visual representation of what these numbers look like, which is what graphs are for. Just a picture of the numbers. So we can say that we have 30% in this range, which is 50-50 and good chance, and then almost certain is a little bit lower, and like that. So you can describe that distribution. Now, it might be interesting to do the exact same thing with females and then put the bars right next to them. Maybe make them in red or pink for females. Anyway, and that way we could do a nice comparison. And in statistics, what we're going to do is, the important part is to describe your findings. So, state, plan, do, and conclude. Those are the 4 steps when we do these problems. Now, But we'll get into that later. Anyway, what was the last thing I was going to tell you? Oh, I remember. Here it is. What I see a lot in classes is you will lose points if you don't label your graph. So you want to label these axes for sure, okay? And also what you're looking at is a good thing. Title the graph. Okay, so don't forget to do that. Now, as you go through these videos, feel free to like and subscribe, and also you can comment. So if there's something that's bugging you about what I'm doing, go ahead and tell me, and I will stop doing it. Or if there's something else you would like me to do and I'm not doing that, I'll do that as well. All right. See ya.